Hi my loves and welcome to day 6. Almost finished with this challenge already, which is crazy. And today we're working on our thighs, sculpting and toning them, and we're starting on our back, hugging the knees in, and then keep your left leg in, and we'll start to straighten and bend the leg with the help of your hands. You can hold on to either your ankle or your thigh, bending and straightening, integrating the ankle, flexing and pointing, just warming up the hamstring a little bit. And then we'll keep the leg extended and draw it in for a passive hamstring stretch. Trying to keep the leg fully straightened, so no bend in your left knee. And breathing through your nose. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Try to keep the leg exactly where it is, but let go of your hands. So release your palms by your sides, but keep your leg lifted. Keep drawing it towards your chest. The thigh really has to work here. Maybe the leg is even shaking. Keep drawing it in. We have 5 more seconds. Let's keep the leg still lifted and start to make circles with the leg, as if we want to paint a circle with our toes, moving it out and around, keeping the leg fully straight, no bend in the knee. It doesn't matter how high your leg is. I want you to prioritize keeping it straight and reversing the direction from here, moving the other way, drawing our circles. And hugging your leg in one more time, and then bending the knees, switching sides, interlace your hands behind the right leg and start to straighten and bend the leg, pointing and flexing the toes and holding on either to your shin or your thigh, doesn't matter, warming up the hamstring. And we'll keep the leg lifted and move into our passive hamstring stretch, drawing the leg towards you while keeping it completely straight. No bend whatsoever in your knee. Focus fully on your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Keeping the leg exactly where it is, we're going to release the arms down and hold the leg, drawing it towards us. Keep engaging your thigh, the quads, to really draw it even closer towards you. Staying lifted, we start to draw our circles with the leg. So moving the leg out to the side and back, painting a really nice circle with your toes while we keep the leg extended and straight. Let's switch directions, moving the opposite way. Last 5 seconds. And then drawing the leg in one more time and bending the knees, hug them into your chest. And we'll extend the legs up towards the ceiling, interlace the hands behind your head, and we lower the right leg down, lift, and left leg down and lift. Try to draw the top leg even more towards you when you lift it. Legs are long, pointed through the toes. Last 5 seconds. Opening the legs wide now, still making sure they're really straight and pointed. And then start to lift your hips up while we keep head and chest lifted. So lifting the hips up and away from the mat and lower. keeping the legs wide, straighten through your knees. And you'll probably also feel your core working here in addition to the inner thighs. Breathing through your nose. We keep the legs open wide, but we release the head down and then start to pulse your feet towards the mat. So pulsing through the toes, opening wider and wider. Legs are straight, pointing even more. Keep pulsing 10 more seconds. And closing the knees together like a book, let's roll onto our side, propping the head up into our palm. Bring your shins parallel to your mat, stacked on top of each other, and we start to lift and lower the shin. So floating the top shin up and lowering it down. And remember, we want to keep that lift in our waist so that we're not collapsing onto the side body, but we try to lift the waist slightly off the mat. And we focus on keeping the hip stacked on top of each other. So we're not allowing the top hip to roll back, we keep it stacked. We keep the shin lifted and start to pulse. So pulsing the knee higher and higher. Ten more seconds, keep pulsing. We keep the shin up and start to extend the leg and tap your toes down in front of you and lift them up. So tapping it down and lifting directly in front of the hip, so straight forward. Feeling your outer hip start to work to lift the leg. We keep the leg up and we pulse. So a few more pulses here, straight through your leg, pointing the toes and pulsing higher and higher. Last 3, 2, and 1. Extend both legs now, bringing them on top of each other down your mat, and then floating the top leg up and down. So lifting and lowering the leg, keeping it straight and still keeping that lift up from your waist. And we keep the leg lifted and start to paint small circles with the toes. So making these tiny circles into one direction. Finding even more length through your leg. We stay there, but we reverse the circle now. So moving the opposite way, and again trying to make these really precise. So pointing through your toes, extending all the way through the leg, and drawing that circle. We have our final pulses, so we're pulsing it out for the last 20 seconds here. So keep pulsing, keep lifting it up. Last 5 seconds, almost done. And releasing it down. Bend your top leg, placing it in front of the other. And then we're starting to lift that lower leg. So squeezing the lower leg up and down, extending it, keeping it straight, and starting to activate the inner thigh muscle on that leg. Let's keep the leg lifted and pulse. A few more pulses here, bringing that bottom leg higher and higher. And lowering it down. Good job. We're done on this side and we'll make our way over to the other side. So finding our setup here, resting our head onto our palm, bringing the shins parallel to the mat. And from there we're lifting and lowering the top shin. Keeping the hips stacked on top of each other, keeping a lift from your waist, so don't collapse onto the side body. We're not relaxing here. We're working those legs, those thighs, the outer glute muscles. Last 5 seconds before we keep the leg up and we pulse. So now keep it lifted and pulse the knee higher and higher. Last 10 seconds of pulses. And we still keep it lifted, but we extend the leg forward and then tap your toes down and lift. Directly in front of the hip, so straight in front of you, we lower and lift the leg. Ten more seconds. And we're keeping the leg up, you know what's coming. We'll do our pulses. So pulsing it higher and higher. Stay with me and keep pulsing. And we lower the leg, extending it on top of the other all the way down your mat. So bring both legs straight and then we start to lift and lower the top leg. Lifting it all the way up, working on those thighs, the outer glute muscles, keeping it super straight all the way down into your toes. Making all of these movements really, really graceful. We have our circles coming up next, so bring the leg up and paint circles with your toes in one direction first. Don't let the leg drop, so we want to keep it up and keep circling it out. And we switch directions, so now moving the opposite way. Still making those circles, point through your toes, keep all the length in your leg and keep that leg lifted. You know what's coming next? We have a few more pulses. So let's pulse that leg up. Final thing for that leg here. So burning it out here. Keep it long, keep it lifted, and pulse it out. And we'll release the top leg down, relaxing our outer glute muscle and hip for a moment. And then bend the leg, extend the bottom leg and start to float it up. Working on that inner thigh now, lifting and lowering that bottom leg while it's still really straight, toes are pointed. And we're almost at the end. Keep your leg lifted now and pulse. Last thing, last little bit of effort. So we are almost finished. 15 more seconds of pulses here. Bring that leg higher and higher. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We are done with the work. From there, we're only gonna do a little bit of stretching. So you can start to lift yourself up. And then we're gonna bring the right foot forward, extending the left foot back for a low lunge, interlacing our fingers on top of the right thigh. And then melting the hip forward, opening the chest, making sure the right knee is on top of your right ankle, stretching into our left hip flexor. And shifting the hips back, coming into a half split, flexing the right foot. You can move your hips from side to side if that feels good, or stay in stillness, trying to create length in your spine and feeling your hamstring stretch. Inhale through your nose, exhaling, and then rebending the knee and switching sides. So we're gonna bring the left foot forward, right leg back, interlacing our palms on top of the left thigh to melt the hips forward, opening the chest. Again, making sure the knee is on top of your ankle. And let's shift the hips back for a half split, flexing the left foot, straightening the leg, folding your chest forward, thinking of length in your spine, and inhaling through your nose, exhaling through the nose. And let's come out of this pose. We are done with day 6. I can't wait to see you tomorrow for day 7. Thank you so much. Bye bye.